Officer Milton, who do we have at the South Annex?
Position 15, Ms. Smith.
All right, that's Mr. Edie's client, is that right?
Yes, Your Honor.
And is this your case, Mr. Tole?
That's
Good
correct.
afternoon.
Good afternoon, Judge. Yes, it is.
Good afternoon, Ms. Smith. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we are conducting by video to help prevent the spread of the virus. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. Smith, you've been charged in case 22 CR 007031H with giving false information to law enforcement, driving while license was suspended or revoked, knowingly driving a motor vehicle on a suspended or canceled or revoked registration, following too closely, and giving false information to law enforcement. Is there, let's see, do we have Mr. Howard on yet?
No, he's not on yet.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Tole.
Yes, Judge. In this case, on January the 11th of this year, police responded to the area of Woodstock Road and Oak Ridge Run in regards to a traffic accident. While gathering information from the defendant, the officer noticed that the vehicle driven by the defendant had a suspended registration. The officer requested for the defendant to write down her name and date of birth, in addition to the 2 children that were in the car with her. She did as was told. The officer continued with his investigation and requested an inquiry on the GCIC and the picture of the defendant, which didn't match the name and the date of birth that was given by the defendant. The officer discovered that the defendant wrote down her sister's name and date of birth. She admitted to doing it and explained that she did it out of fear of being arrested for driving with a suspended license. The officer advised that he wouldn't arrest her on the scene because the children were present, but he did notify her that he would be obtaining warrants for her arrest due to the traffic violation. The state's bond recommendation is a $3,500 split bond, and that will be for count 1, giving false name, address, or birth date to law enforcement officer. That'll be a $500 surety bond. For count 2, driving while license suspended or revoked, that's a $1,000 surety bond. For count 3, knowingly driving a motor vehicle on a suspended, canceled, or revoked registration, a $1,000 surety bond. And for count 4, following too closely, $500 signature bond. And for count 5, giving false information to law enforcement officer, that's a $500 signature bond. Also with the conditions of no driving without a valid license and tag, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. And Judge, the state is concerned that she does run the risk of reoffending due to, she has a conviction for driving without a valid license. She also has a conviction from 2020, driving with a suspended license. She actually has 2 for 2020 and 2021, driving with a suspended license. And lastly, she has a conviction for knowingly driving a motor vehicle with suspended, canceled, revoked registration for 2021.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Tole. Mr. Edie, I'm not going to keep Ms. Smith in on traffic charges. It's going to be a $500 signature bond through the jail on each charge, which makes it a $2,500 signature bond through the jail, and obviously no driving without a valid license. Does that suit you, sir?
That suits me perfectly fine.
Okay. All right. Good luck to you, Ms. Smith.
Thank you. Next, we have position 11, Ms. Moore. Okay. Have a seat, please. Thank you.
And who's representing Ms. Moore this afternoon?
I am, Judge, as well. Oh, well, no, I'm sorry. Not for the state.
You're going to prosecutor and defendant, Mr. Tole?
Yes.
Get double pay today. Ms. Kim, Ms. Gant.
Your Honor, this is actually a conflict case, so we're waiting for Ms. McLeod. And I would like to make an announcement. I need to have Spanish interpreter to interview one of my clients, Lopez Ramos.
All right, we have Madam Interpreter on the
Good
line.
afternoon.
Today, so
Good
good
afternoon,
afternoon, ma'am. Can someone please give Ms. McLeod a call and see if she's going to join us? And South Annex, do we have anyone else that we can go to?
That's the only one left I have, Your Honor.
Your Honor, she's in Henry County right now in court. She said, can we push all her cases to the back end of the calendar?
Okay, all right, thank you.
Yeah.
I
And
appreciate
also,
that.
Ms. Kim, you have two clients. You have the Spanish interpreter and you also have Mr. Melton.
Correct.
Okay, so I got Mr. Melton on the phone right now.
Mhm.
And all of our courtrooms are being utilized. So we're gonna have to do the Spanish interpreter on the phone,
No
unfortunately.
problem. Sure.
Okay. So you can give a call to 22392, Mr. Melton, and pick up the phone.
Okay.
Okay.
Can you give me the phone number, please?
It's 404-612-2392. But that's not for the Spanish interpreter yet. I'm gonna put him on second.
Yes, sir. Just let me know. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Your Honor,
Yes,
Ms. Moore has been very impatient in waiting. To the point of almost, she's aggravated. Ms. Gant did interview her, and if it's possible, if we can waive her presence so I can take her back.
we can't waive her presence without the lawyer being here and without there being a written waiver in place, Officer Melton.
Calm down, it's okay.
If you're telling the court that there's a problem, then you all need to do what's in the best interest of yourself and the people at the jail and also Ms. Moore. So can you, if you have to take her back, then you have to take her back, Officer
Okay,
Melton. Okay.
what I'll do, I'll take her back, and then when Ms. Gant, Ms. McLeod comes back, I will see if she's up to coming back.
No.
Okay.
You might want to come on and let me get this over with.
The attorney is not here, so
So why would they tell me to call when she ain't here?
Your Honor,
I'll be back.
okay. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Judge Morrow. I do apologize for interrupting. I will need a position for breakout number 7. For position 7.
And what's the reason for the breakout?
MH issues.
All right, so I don't know if you all have discussed it. You have not discussed it with me, but apparently it is now the solicitors that they are not wanting breakout sessions regarding any of these cases. Is that correct? Who do we have on? Mr. Walker, Ms. Sari? It was my understanding that that they wanted everything on the record.
Your Honor, to my,
That is correct, Your Honor. Unless it's image concern.
Okay, all right, so anything but, so you all are gonna object to anything but MH, is that my understanding?
Correct. So is anything like
Okay.
a crime of,
Okay, so we will do a breakout room for you, Ms. Gant.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, who do we have in courtroom 2?
Good afternoon, Judge Morrow. This is going to be position 1, Miss Andrews, and she does have a private attorney.
Good afternoon again, Your Honor.
Ms. Andrews, I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation calendar that we're doing by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video? Can you hear me, Ms. Andrews?
Your Honor, she has a hearing disability.
Okay, well, can you all ask her if she'll do this by video?
She's reading
Read the transcript.
the transcript.
Okay.
Say it one more time, Your Honor.
Do you consent to having your case heard by video?
Yeah.
Okay, you've been charged with criminal trespass and damage to property. It's my understanding that this is Ms. Andrews's first arrest. She's recommended by pretrial. Ms. Sari, is this your case? You're on mute, Ms. Sari.
I apologize. Yes, Your Honor, it is my case.
Okay,
The state is recommending a $4,000 pretrial signature bond through pretrial with conditions of no further violent contact with the victim or the witness in this case, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. Your Honor, briefly, the facts are that officers responded to a domestic dispute. When they arrived, the officer had to step over broken glass. The witness in this case, whose name is Marie Andrews, and the victim, whose name is Juanita Albert, they stated that the defendant got upset and started to break multiple items in the household. So that is the reason for the charge. And I do believe the victim is on the call.
okay. Mr. Rosenblum?
Your Honor, my client has no intention of having any contact with either party. She has relocated out of the area to Clarksville, where she has a residence, she has a full-time job, and she attends, I believe she attends school. We would ask that the signature bond go through the jail, however, because given her distance and her lack of transportation, having to check in with pretrial would create an undue burden. That would just land her into more trouble if there's an issue. We had been retained on this case and we're trying to locate the warrant and information through Sandy Springs while this was all going on. And it wasn't until she was pulled over for a speeding charge that it finally surfaced and she was brought over to Fulton County. So she was addressing the issues. I don't believe there's any flight risk or anything like that or risk of contact. She is now living with a family who is providing suitable location to live as well as support.
Okay.
Your Honor, it's already cut in, but I believe you check in with pretrial via telephone, so
Well, she's hard of hearing, so that's also going to be an issue.
noted.
Okay, let's see. Well, there will be a no further contact and a stay away. That being said, if there is an alleged victim on the line that would like to address the court, this is your opportunity. You do not have to address the court, but if you would like to address the court, this is the opportunity, and you'll have to unmute yourself and activate your camera if you choose. Is this Miss Andrews? Is it Marie Andrews?
Yes, Your Honor, it's Anita Albert and Marie Andrews.
Okay. I don't know if you all can hear me, but I cannot hear you.
Apparently they were not connected to the audio. They may have to log on, log back off, or figure how they can connect on without logging off the audio.
All right, so it is going to be a $4,000 signature bond. It's going to go through the jail. No further contact with the alleged victims. Stay away from the incident location, and no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond.
And Your Honor, would you like me to put the incident location on the record?
Yes.
415 Morgan Falls Road in Sandy Springs.
Okay, as I don't see anyone else on the line at this time.
They're on their line, Judge, now. They got their audio connected.
Finally able to figure out how to do this, and I apologize.
No, you're fine. Is this Marie Andrews?
She's sitting next to me. This is her sister, yes.
Is there anything that if you would like to say to the court? If so, I'm going to have to swear you in.
Yes, we do. Yes.
Okay, raise your right hand for me. Do you swear affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, we do.
Okay, and just let me, while you were gone, Miss Albert and Miss Andrews, I am ordering that she stay away from you both, and that she stay away from your location, so that she can have no further contact whatsoever with either of the two of you or with the location. Okay, just so you know that.
Is there a reason for that, Your Honor?
You want to have contact?
Of course.
Okay, so what do
Yes,
you,
we do.
okay, go ahead. Tell me what you want to tell me.
I want to drop all charges against her. I don't want to do this. I love my little girl and I want her to come home.
And we don't want, she has a 100-year-old grandmother who's at this address where Mariah was living for the past year. And she would be heartbroken if she could not see Mariah. Mariah is not a danger. We can assure you of that. She has some anger issues that need to be addressed. She does. And that's a lot to do with her background, but she is not a harmful person. And the damage she caused here should not have occurred. She does have anger issues, but she is not a threat to anyone's life. And her grandmother, her 100-year-old grandmother, would be totally distraught if Mariah couldn't come and visit with her. And her mother too. Her mother can't drive. She's disabled. And I'm the aunt and the caregiver for everybody. And I love Mariah. And I wasn't here when this all transpired, but I saw what happened. And but I know Mariah, and she lived with us for a year, and we love her. And
Okay, so you're telling me you're not afraid of her, right? And you want her to come home. Is that right?
We'd love to, yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna have her have no further violent contact with you.
Your Honor,
Yes.
Your Honor, I'm sorry to interrupt, but the defense has noted that the defendant herself does not want contact. So we're asking for that to remain, as well as implementing a one-day anger awareness course, as we've heard the victim's statements.
Okay, well, I'm not going to do that, because if she wants to stay away, she can stay away. You know, that's she doesn't have to go around if she doesn't want to. But if she wants to go around and she wants to be a part of her family, I'm going to allow her to do that, and it's going to be no further violent contact. And I mean, this is Miss Andrews' first arrest. She doesn't have any any prior history, so I'm going to give her that opportunity. So I appreciate you all being on the line this afternoon. And
I'm glad we were able to.
I'm glad you were able to. I'm glad you were able to also. Thank you all.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Anything
So
further?
What do we need to do now?
I got made arrangements for the family she's living with to come pick her up once she makes it through the jail services.
Okay.
All right. You all have a good afternoon.
Just contact you after that.
Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome.
Thank
Have a good
you.
afternoon.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Who do we have next?
Position 3, Burgess. Good.
They took her out.
Good afternoon, Mr. Burgess. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar that we're conducting by video. You have the case heard by video?
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. Lewis, can you mute them for me as they try to get out of the session?
Yes.
Please? Okay, thank you. Mr. Burgess, you've been charged in case 22 CR 007024E with battery family violence. Is there a history, Mr. Howard? Good afternoon.
Hello. This is a fourth arrest. Last was 2020, assault, firearm offense, family offense. Comes out of Delaware. They were dismissed. Before that was 2018 assault, dismissed. 2017 assault, that was dismissed as well. That's it.
Ms. Sorry.
Yes, Your Honor. This incident took place at 55 Maple Street in Atlanta. An officer was dispatched to the incident location regarding a domestic dispute. The officer met with the victim, whose name is Aaliyah, that's Alia, last name Koontz, Koonce. She stated that she and the defendant got into a verbal argument when she poured wine on his Xbox. The defendant then slapped the victim in her face, which did cause lacerations. The officer also observed inflammation marks on the victim's chest, along with lacerations. When the officer spoke with the defendant, he stated that the victim caused the injuries, but she did inform the officer that it was the defendant. The state's recommendation in this case is a $3,000 surety bond with conditions of no contact with the victim, a stay away, 1-day anger awareness course, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. And the state's recommendation is that due to the risk of intimidating this victim, the risk of offending, and the fact that the defendant does have domestic violence arrest in his history, as we've heard from pretrial. Nothing further.
Has your office spoken with the alleged victim?
We did reach out, but we were not able to contact her, but she is on this.
I'm right here.
Okay. So, Scant.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Jesus Burgos is 24 years old. He has been in the Atlanta, Georgia area with his wife. They've been together for 8 years. They've been married for 6. They share 2 children, ages 3 and 8 months old. Mr. Burgos completed high school. He also has a bachelor's in business administration. He is currently employed as a line chef at a local restaurant, and he also is self-employed as a metaphysical supplier. He has been doing that for 1 year. Mr. Burgos is presumed innocent, Your Honor. He denies the allegations. I am requesting a signature bond on Mr. Burgos's behalf. He is recommended, and although we heard about prior instances of violence, Your Honor, those were not convictions, Your Honor, and Your Honor should not rely on arrests that have not led to convictions. I did have the occasion to speak to his wife. He both want contact, therefore we are asking for a no violent contact order, and we are opposed to any stay away conditions. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Kuntz, if you would like to address the court, I'll need for you to raise your right hand for me. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you can put your hand down. Thank you, ma'am. What would you like to tell the court?
Thank you so much. I didn't know I was going to be able to speak. There's been some type of misunderstanding. Those prior charges, I don't even know where they came from. Okay, he's had some history of inflicting things upon himself, but he has never inflicted violence upon me. What happened was, we got in a verbal disagreement because he works very late. The children don't get a chance to see him. Sometimes I'm tired, I need help. I felt as though he wasn't really paying attention to the things that are going on in the household. He was playing the game too much. He was being stubborn. So I took the wine, I poured it on the Xbox, and, he just grabbed me like this. He said, "That's it, go outside, take a break." I saw the police, and my thing is I don't want to be taken from my children, so I didn't know what was going on. I ran up to the police and I said, "Look, I don't know what's going on. I didn't do anything. Me and him got into a situation. Nothing happened." I was surprised the police were called because we both agreed that we wouldn't do that, because this is between us and it wasn't that serious. So what's happening is we have a neighbor upstairs that really looked for an opportunity to wait till we was arguing. I poured wine on the Xbox. I threw the Xbox and I was throwing a couple things. So then, she heard that and narrated a story to the police that we're down here fighting and all of that. Because the thing is I've called the police by advisory of the management to ask her to regulate her noise in her apartment. So I don't know what's up with her. They have been going back and forth. Actually, I have a lot of evidence to that. I'm talking to a lawyer right now about it. I really apologize about the situation because now I know he didn't call, I didn't call, but you would defend yourself if someone called police on you. So my whole thing is I breastfeed my daughter. I was locked up before in a situation too. I understand how this goes, but my whole thing is he didn't do anything. You know what I mean? Like, I understand as a husband, he wanted to just have me leave, take a break. We was arguing. I was outside with a police came. I had my laptop. I was
You're not,
studying. Say it again.
you're not afraid of him?
No.
You want him back in the household?
Yes, like now. Miss him very much.
Your
He's
Honor.
taking care, let me finish, Miss Sorry. He's
Uh-huh.
taking care of his children?
Oh, yes, he's a beautiful, wonderful person and father and a stand-up individual in the community. He's awesome. This is just a misunderstanding. They don't like his power. You know, people intimidated by him a little bit. So I think she tried to play this little game because she was laughing when she walked by me last night.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Now, Miss Sorry, what would you like to say?
Yes, Your Honor. I just wanted to speak regarding the victim's statement regarding contact. She is actually a defendant in another case in Richmond County where the victim in this case is the defendant, or I'm sorry, she's the defendant in that case. So essentially there is some type of issue that they have. And I wasn't able to find out if there were a no contact provision in the Richmond County case, but due to her case, and then now he's picked up a case, the state is concerned. So we are asking for that no contact order.
The case has been dropped, ma'am. That's why you didn't find anything.
All right,
Honor,
Mr. Burgos, you have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you. So put your hand down for me, sir, right now. I'll let you speak with your attorney. Based on what I'm hearing, it's going to be a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial, 1-day anger awareness, no further violent contact with Ms. Coombs, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. I'm going to let you out, but if anything goes on, this bond's going to be revoked, and you're going to be right back where you are. You understand that? All right. Good luck to you all.
Yes, thank you. I don't know how do I get to the bond? Okay.
Position
All
2,
right.
Antoinette.
Good afternoon, Mr. Antonez. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video? Can you understand me, Mr. Antonez?
Yes.
You agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes.
You've been charged in case 22 CR 007022C with criminal trespass and willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
No.
Miss, sorry?
Yes, Your Honor. This incident took place at 2945 Sherburne, that's SHURBURNE Drive in Alpharetta. The victim in this case, whose name is Kevin Swindle, and his wife Whitney Swindle, they were alerted by the Ring camera on their door that there was motion around their home. The victim saw that there was an unauthorized individual pacing back and forth on his property and looking inside his home windows. When the victim told the defendant to leave the premises, he refused, and that's when the police were called. And while attempting to detain the defendant, he stood on the victim's stairs of their back porch and threatened to jump, and then attempted to flee the scene. He was eventually arrested, and the victim's wife and children had to be escorted from the home. The state's recommendation in this case is a $2,000 surety bond on surety bond. That's $1,500 on the criminal trespass and $500 on the obstruction, with conditions of staying away from the incident location, no contact with the victims, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. Nothing further.
Ms. Camp?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Jose Antunes is 23 years old. He has been in the Atlanta, Georgia area for 1 year. He has a cousin here. Mr. Antunes completed his senior year of high school. He is not employed at this time. His most recent employment was with a granite production company about 1 week ago. He does not have anyone to help him with bond. He is presumed innocent and denies the allegations. He doesn't have any prior history. I have no concerns regarding his competency. Therefore, I am requesting, Your Honor, a signature bond, and we are unopposed to the no contact and the stay away orders. Thank you.
Thank you. So it's going to be $1,000 signature bond through the jail on each charge. So a $2,000 signature bond through the jail. Stay away from the Sherburne Drive address. No further contact with the swindles, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Antonis.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Position 6, Jalagama.
Good afternoon, Mr. Jalagama. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation calendar that we are conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes. Yes, sir.
You have been charged in case 22 CR 007026D with hindering a person making an emergency phone call and simple battery family violence. I've been told that this is Mr. Jalagama's first arrest. Sorry.
I'm sorry, I'm just pulling the case up.
Yes, I see you there, ma'am. I'll give you the opportunity to speak at a later time so you can put your hand down, but be assured that I'll be back with you, okay?
Your Honor, this incident took place at 2876 Webb Bridge Road in Alpharetta. Officers responded to the incident location after a person called 911, said, "Hello, police, help," and then disconnected the phone. The 911 dispatch attempted to call the victim back, whose name is Vanitha, that's Vanitha, last name Mallikarjuna. They attempted to call her back 3 times, but could not get through. And when the officer did arrive, they spoke with the defendant, who stated that he and the victim simply got into an argument. However, the victim was visibly shaken up, breathing heavily, and she looked as though she had been crying. And when pulled to the side, she stated that she was slapped by the defendant when they were in an argument. The state's recommendation in this case is a $3,000 surety bond with conditions of no contact with the victim, stay away, a 1-day anger awareness course, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. Nothing further.
Ms. Gant?
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Shiva Jalagama is 42 years old. He informs me that he and the complaining witness, Ms. Vanitha Mallikarjuna, have been in the Atlanta, Georgia area for 1 year. They do not have any other family here. They only have each other. They've been dating for 2 years and they are not married. Mr. Jalagama completed high school and he has a master's in computer science. He is gainfully employed as a consultant for the state of South Carolina. He strongly denies the allegations. He does not have anyone to call other than his significant other to assist with bond. And I'm requesting a signature bond in light of the fact that my client does not have any arrest or any history whatsoever. We are opposed to the no contact and the stay away orders. My client wants contact, and I have been in contact with the complaining witness, and she is here to address the court. Thank you, Your Honor.
And Ms. Mallikarjuna, if you would like to address the court, you'll need to unmute yourself and I'll have to swear you in. Do you swear affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, you can put your hand down. Thank you, ma'am. What would you like to tell the court?
Sir, this is, I didn't wanted him to get arrested. I was in kind of a panic mode. I could not take that shout and I dialed 911. So that was totally unexpected. He is not at all a threat to me. He is a very loving person and caring person. And we never had this kind of in our 2 years of relationship. He has always been loving and caring towards me. And I did request COP not to do this arrest because that is not what it looks like. So, I sincerely request, we both do have the anger issue, but we are not, he is not at all threat to me, or we are not, kind of into severity, or we are still trying to work out towards the relationship. And we are Indian couples and we are married in Indian traditional. but we haven't legally signed the papers yet. But we are married couples, and the argument was kind of like we wanted to have a baby, and we both were kind of trying to work out on that. So that got into a heated discussion. So apart from that, there was nothing. So he is very, very, very nice person that he, is only the person for me, and I'm only the person for him. And we both traveled so far, and we got united over here, and, trying to lead the life. So he is not at all a threat to me. I am desperately waiting for him to be home. Please excuse me, and my sincere apologize for making call, and the scenic which I did. It is totally new to me, and I'm sincerely apologize for this, whatever happened.
Has this ever happened before?
I'm sorry, sir.
Has this ever happened before?
No, it never happened before. This is the first time.
And are you afraid of him?
No, I'm not. He's a very loving person. He always helped me understand, and he always tries to, he did say sorry, but I was not able to understand or get into his talk actually. So that got into a heated discussion. He is not at all a threat.
All right, so for the hindering person making a phone call, $1,000 signature bond through pretrial. For the simple battery, a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial, which makes it a total of a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial for the simple battery, a total of a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial, 1-day anger awareness, no further violent contact with the alleged victim, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
Thank you.
Good luck to you, sir. You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
You can have a seat. Position 9, Mr. Lopez Ramos.
Is this the gentleman who requires an interpreter?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. If you will raise your right hand, Madam Interpreter.
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you swear affirm that you will translate from English to Spanish and from Spanish to English to the best of your ability?
I do, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Lopez Ramirez. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. We are conducting this hearing today by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Buenas tardes, señor López. Yo soy el juez Morrow y estamos conduciendo esta audiencia a distancia. ¿Está de acuerdo con que lo hagamos de esta manera? Yes.
You have been charged with 2 counts of battery, family violence.
Usted tiene 2 cargos por golpes y lesiones, violencia familiar.
4 counts of cruelty to children in the 3rd degree.
4 cargos por crueldad ante un menor en el 3er grado.
And willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer.
Y por obstrucción voluntaria a la autoridad.
Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
¿Hay antecedentes, señor Howard?
Second arrest. Last month, driving without a valid license.
Tuvo un arresto el mes pasado por manejar sin licencia.
Mr. Tole?
Yes, Judge. On October the 17th of this year, the victim and the defendant.
La víctima y el acusado en el 17 de octubre de este año.
Who was also the father of the victim's children, were involved in a dispute.
Que era también el padre de los hijos de la víctima, se involucraron en una pelea.
The defendant pulled out her hair extensions.
El acusado le tironeó las extensiones de cabello.
Bit her left forearm and grabbed her in an aggressive manner.
Le golpeó el antebrazo derecho y se lo tironeó de una manera agresiva.
It caused a visible bruise on her right tricep, a mark on her arm.
I'm sorry. Causó un moretón en el tríceps derecho. I'm sorry. Go ahead, madam.
No, it's okay. I apologize. A mark on her arm,
una marca en el brazo
and multiple lacerations on her face and neck.
y múltiples rasguños en el cuello y la cara.
He also punched his son, causing a bruise on the right side of his face near his eye.
Y también abofeteó al hijo causándole un moretón en el lado derecho de la cara.
All of this was done in the presence of their 4 children.
Y esto lo cometió en frente de los 4 menores.
The state's bond recommendation for count 1, battery family violence, is a $3,500 surety bond.
Se sugiere una fianza de garantía de $3,500 por el cargo de golpes y lesiones.
With conditions of no further contact with the victim, Yvonne Davila. And that is, well, I can spell that for you as well, Judge.
Y no tener más contacto con la víctima de I'm sorry, what was the first name, madam? Yvonne Davila, and that is I-V-O-N-N?
No, that is spelled Y-V as in Violet, O-N as in Nancy, N as in Nancy, E, last name D as in David, A-V as in Violet, I-L-A. Stay away from the incident location, 1374 Grand Creek, and that's G-R-A-N. The second word is C-R-I-Q-U-E, Drive, Apartment C, Roswell, Georgia, 30076.
Que se mantenga alejado de la dirección 1374 Grand Creek departamentos en Roswell, Georgia, 30076 y el departamento C.
And no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out.
Y queda prohibido el uso de drogas, alcohol y armas mientras esté fuera bajo fianza.
For the second battery family violence, that's a charge, that's a $35 surety bond with conditions of no further contact with the victim, Javier, that's Javier Castillo, C-A-S-T as in Tom, I-L-L-O.
Y por el segundo cargo de golpes y lesiones, se sugiere una fianza de $3,500 bajo garantía y no tener contacto con la víctima Javier Castillo.
And stay away from the incident location, 1374 Grand Creek Drive, Apartment C, Roswell, Georgia, 30076.
Y también mantenerse alejado del domicilio 1374 Grand Creek Drive, departamento C, en Roswell, Georgia, 30076.
Okay. Completion of a family violence intervention program and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out.
Y condiciones de tener una evaluación de drogas y alcohol y tratamiento si es necesario.
And then for the 4 counts of the cruelty to children in the 3rd degree, that's $500 surety bond for each charge.
Y por crueldad ante un menor, por cada cargo, una fianza de $500 por cada cargo.
No further contact with the victims, Carlos Davila. The second victim is Gail Moreno, and that's G-A-E-L, last name spelled M as in Mary, O-R-E-N as in Nancy, O. The third victim is Eric Moreno, and that's spelled E-R-I-C-K, same last name. The fourth victim is Javier Castillo, and that's the same one for the battery family violence charge.
Y tampoco tener más contacto con Carlos Dávila, Gail Moreno, Eric Moreno, y la cuarta víctima es Javier Castillo.
And no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
Y no quedan prohibido el uso de drogas, alcohol y de armas mientras esté afuera bajo fianza.
And then for the seventh charge, for the count 7, willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer, that's a $1,000 surety bond and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
Y por el último cargo de obstrucción voluntaria a la autoridad, se solicitan $1,000 de fianza bajo garantía, quedando prohibido el uso de drogas, alcohol y armas, mientras esté fuera bajo fianza.
And Judge, although this defendant does have a limited criminal history,
A pesar de que el acusado tiene antecedentes penales limitados,
the state is concerned that he runs the risk of intimidating the victims due to the nature of this case and the relationship of the parties.
la fiscalía, debido a que puede haber le preocupa la posibilidad de que el acusado intimide a las víctimas debido a la naturaleza de los cargos imputados en el caso.
Our office has been in contact with the victims in this case, and we do anticipate that she will want contact. However, the state will object to that due to the facts of this case.
Hemos estado en contacto con la víctima en este caso y aunque ella pudiese querer tener contacto con el acusado, la fiscalía objeta esa posibilidad de que se le dé permiso ya debido a la naturaleza de los cargos imputados.
The victim is also on the Zoom call, Your Honor, listed under iPhone, and if you would sound for her whenever it is appropriate.
La víctima también está presente en la plataforma aquí de Zoom bajo el nombre de iPhone, si usted puede prender el micrófono si lo ve necesario.
Okay.
Mr. Tole, who is Ms. Davila to Mr. Lopez Ramos?
¿Quién es la señora Dávila con relación al señor Ramos?
They're living together. They're in a relationship, boyfriend and girlfriend, and they also share children together.
Ellos están viviendo juntos, son novios y también comparten hijos juntos.
And who is Javier Castillo to Mr. Lopez?
¿Quién es Javier Castillo con respecto al señor López?
His son.
Su hijo.
Okay. And how is it that, okay. So you've charged him with a battery family violence for the son and cruelty to the children for the son?
O sea que usted le imputa un cargo de golpes y lesiones por el hijo, o sea, no por los otros hijos, sino por el hijo de él solo.
That is correct, Judge.
Correcto, sí, señoría.
Okay, so, okay. Ms. Kim.
Yes, Your
Señora
Honor.
Kim.
Well, Mr. Lopez Ramos is 22 years old.
El señor López Ramos tiene 22 años de edad.
And he was born in Mexico. He came to Georgia about 5 years ago.
Él nació en México y vino a Georgia hace 5 años.
And he graduated from high school in Mexico.
Él se graduó de la escuela secundaria en México.
And he has been working in the construction industry for the last 5 years.
Él ha trabajado en la industria de la construcción por los últimos 5 años.
Miss Davila is his girlfriend.
La señora Davila es su novia.
They live together and both of their names are on the lease.
Ellos viven juntos y el contrato de alquiler está bajo el nombre de los dos.
However, he says that none of the children is actually his child.
Pero él dice que ninguno de los niños son hijos suyos.
We would like to request for a signature on bond since this is his first offense.
Quiero solicitar una fianza bajo firma debido a que este es el primer delito que él comete.
And I believe that Miss Yvonne Davila is on the line, and if she wants to talk about like whether she wants to have a contact or whether she wants him to come back home, we don't mind for her testimony. My client has another place to stay.
Si la señora o señorita Ivonne Dávila está en la plataforma y quiere hablar con respecto a tener contacto con mi cliente o no, no tenemos problema. Mi cliente tiene un lugar a donde ir a vivir.
Ms. Davila, if, I see you're on the line, if you would like to speak, I'll need for you to raise your right hand for me.
Señora Dávila, la veo, puede levantar su mano si quiere hablar. The microphone is muted, Your Honor.
And is she on the iPhone? And you're gonna have to unmute yourself.
I tried to identify which one she is. She's the one holding.
Tiene que prender el micrófono, señora Ivonne.
Okay.
Asking her to unmute herself, but she.
Yes, I already did, madam. Hay que hacer clic en el micrófono para prenderlo.
Excuse me? It's muted.
It's not. No, it's not.
Your Honor, I'm going to ask Mr. Lopez Ramos if they both speak Spanish just to make sure.
Okay,
Señor
well,
López Ramos, ¿la señora Ivonne Dávila habla español?
Sí,
Oh, yes.
habla español.
Yes, she does.
Prende el micrófono, está apagado.
Prenda el micrófono, por favor. I think they're trying.
Sigue apagado.
I think, yes, I think you have to touch on the top. Creo que trate de tocar en la parte de arriba de la pantalla del teléfono. A ver si aparece. Hay un símbolo en la parte de arriba del teléfono, en la pantalla.
Tiene el símbolo como si estuviera en silencio.
No hable, señor. En la parte de arriba del teléfono, trate de tocar. En la parte de arriba. I think the image got frozen.
You're probably gonna have to.
I can give him my phone number and maybe call him and put her on speaker and you can see her and listen the voice through my microphone. Señora, ¿me escucha? Oh, they're gonna sign back in, Your Honor.
Okay.
Oh, señora, ¿me escucha? Ahí está. There you go. It's connecting.
Okay, sí, hello. Hola.
Okay.
Can you
Hola,
guys
¿cómo
hear-
está? Sí, señora. Go. She has her hand ready.
Would you ask her if she speaks English?
¿Usted habla un poco de inglés, señora?
No, pero tengo una amiga que ella habla inglés.
No, but I have a friend who speaks English.
Swear affirm and testimony you have to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
¿Usted jura o afirma que todo lo que dirá ante este tribunal será la verdad, toda la verdad y nada más que la verdad?
Sí.
I do. Oh, baje su mano, señor.
What would you like to tell the court?
¿Qué es lo que quiere decirle, lo que quiere decirme? Por favor, haga pausa.
Él no le pegó a Javier. El niño ya traía la marca porque él se cayó. Y también le preguntaron a mi otro niño porque traía un raspón.
Okay, one moment. He didn't hit Javier. He had a mark because he had fallen down and hurt himself. And my other child, my boy, also fell down. ¿Él se cayó, el otro niño?
Sí, también traía otra marca y le preguntaron y ellos dijeron que sí. pero eso se lo hicieron en la escuela.
And my
Uno se-
other son had another mark. And when they were asked, they said yes, but they got that at school. ¿Algo más?
Él no es mala persona, él me ayuda mucho con los niños, él paga la renta del apartamento.
He's not a bad person. He helps me with the children. He pays the apartment's rent.
Mis niños están preocupados por él. Ellos inclusive estaban llorando cuando se lo llevó la policía.
And my children are worried about him. And they were crying when the police took him away.
Él no es mala persona, simplemente yo creo el alcohol no lo controla. Pero no
he's not a bad person. I think he loses control with alcohol.
Anything further, ma'am?
¿Algo más, señora?
Yo sí quiero que él regrese, ¿verdad? Obviamente con que no vuelva a tomar, porque no es bueno es el alcohol.
I want him to come back just with the condition that he doesn't drink anymore because it's not good for him.
Did he hit you, ma'am?
¿La golpeó él a usted, señora?
Pues sí, me jaló el cabello.
Well, yes, he pulled my hair.
Tuvimos una discusión.
We had an argument.
Has this happened before?
¿Ha pasado esto antes?
No.
No.
Mr. Tole?
Yes, Judge, if I may add that the victim herself is the one who called the police that night. Additionally, the officers saw fresh bruises on the child's face, which looked as if it had just occurred the night of the incident.
One moment, please. I would like to add that me gustaría que decir que la víctima fue la que llamó a la policía y la policía vio que tenía los moretones frescos, o sea, recién hechos en la cara del niño.
No, eso ya tiene tiempo, tiene días.
No, that had happened some time ago, days ago, before.
Mi niño está aquí y yo le puedo enseñar donde tiene una marquita aquí roja.
My child is here. I can show you that he has a little red mark over here.
Nothing further from the state, Judge.
Nada más de la fiscalía.
Does he have somewhere else to go, Ms. Kim?
Yes, he does.
¿Tiene algún otro lugar para él poder ir a vivir? Sí.
No.
All right, so for both battery family violence, it will be $1,000 a good bond. So this is going to be a split bond. For each battery family violence, $1,000 good bond.
Por el cargo de golpes y lesiones, violencia familiar, una fianza de $1,000 bajo firma.
For each of the other charges, it will be a $500 signature bond through the jail.
Corrección, eran $1,000 bajo garantía y por cada uno de los cargos restantes son $500 de multa por cargo bajo firma, por fianza bajo firma.
Okay. At this time, no further contact with any of the alleged victims.
En este momento queda prohibido el contacto de cualquier modo con las víctimas.
And to stay away from the incident location.
Y debe él mantenerse alejado del lugar del incidente.
No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
Y queda prohibida el uso de drogas, alcohol y armas mientras esté fuera bajo fianza.
He can go back to that location on one occasion with law enforcement to retrieve any belongings that he might have there.
Él puede regresar a esa residencia solo una vez con un oficial de policía para él retirar todas sus pertenencias personales.
Good luck to you all.
Buena suerte a todos.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Madam Interpreter. We appreciate your help this afternoon.
You're very welcome, sir. Have a good evening.
Do the same. Who do we have next?
So annex, Your Honor, for Ms. McLeod, position 11.
I don't think Ms. McLeod is there yet.
She's not.
Oh, she might be.
I am here. I'm here, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, Ms. Moore. I'm Judge Eric Moore. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar. We are conducting this by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
Thank you. You've been charged in case 22 CR 006974D with criminal trespass. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
Say it again. Not you, not you.
Charged with criminal trespass, ma'am.
It's a
Mr.
ninth
Howard?
arrest. Last arrest was in August for trespass. It's open trespass in state court 22 CR 005-375D. April arrest FTA for trespass and obstruction, possession of drug-related objects. She was arrested in March, criminal trespass, possession of drug-related objects. The possession was conviction. 2014 FTA, not prosecuted, was the disposition. 2014 probation. 2014 trespass conviction. Forgery in the 4th and 1st degree from 2013. That's it.
Mr. Tole?
Yes, Judge. On October 15th of this year, the defendant entered and remained on the premises of A1 Soul Food, which is located in a shopping plaza without consent, and after being criminally trespassed on 2 prior occasions. The earliest occasion was October 14th, which was the day before this incident. The state's bond recommendation is a $1,000 surety bond. Stay away from the incident location, 2636 Martin Luther King Jr. Drive, Southwest Atlanta, Georgia, 30311, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. And the state is concerned that she does run the risk of reoffending due to the 2 arrests and 1 conviction for criminal trespass.
Ms. McLeod?
Yes, Your Honor. My client is 35 years old. She tells me that she went on the premises because she was hungry and she was trying to get some food to eat. She is unsure as to why she was arrested, because in her mind, all she was doing was trying to get some food because she was hungry. My client is currently homeless, Your Honor, and she has severe mental health issues. I believe she does not understand when she has been criminally trespassed from somewhere. She really does not understand what that means. She tells me that she does take medication to which she has not had access, and she has been laughed at, and she's really feeling very unwell. She has absolutely no income, Your Honor. So any kind of surety bond is going to mean she'll just be sitting in jail. And that is the reality of her situation, Your Honor. The court will notice that the kind of crimes she has been charged with have not been violent crimes, that have been crimes related to her understanding of things and the fact that she is challenged when it comes to residence, income, that sort of thing. She essentially lives on the street. So she has no money to post bond, Your Honor, and I would ask the court to take that into consideration in setting her bond. Thank you.
Mr. Tole, is the other criminal trespass, is that pending?
That one, let me check to see if that one's pending.
If it's pending, is it pending in Fulton County?
I'll check for that, Judge.
Any pending charge is likely to be in Fulton County, Your Honor, because she doesn't drive or anything. And she tells me she's usually around the area of Martin Luther King.
Let me see, pulling it up right now.
And what's the reason that a conflict attorney is needed, Ms. McLeod?
I think there was a previous case and there was someone that the state represented. I think this was said on the calendar. That's my understanding. From 2015.
Judge, my computer is going very slow. I'm gonna have to log out and start over.
Mrs. McLeod, I just don't want to without at least trying to help her in her situation. I would prefer to have a social worker visit her to give us a preliminary assessment. And if she does have another case, maybe we can handle all of this at one time together at an SAP calendar where I will see her again.
She does have an open another case, Judge. I found it.
Okay, so why don't we do this? I'm gonna go with the state's recommendation for now, $1,000 good bond. Can we, Ms. Lewis, can we put both of those cases on the SAP calendar in 2 weeks?
Yes, sir, we can.
Okay, we'll put them both on November 1st. Ms. McLeod, I'd like to have a social worker visit her. Given that it's your case, I can come back to you and you can report to me regarding that social worker, and then maybe we can get her some services instead of just putting her back out.
Yes, Your Honor, I think she does need some help, certainly with housing and so on.
Right. My concern is that she might, that she might get into more difficulty.
I understand, Your Honor, and I guess that is likely considering that she really has no visible means of support or anything.
Okay, so it's going to be $1,000 good bond, no further contact with Al Soul Food, stay away from Al Soul Food, a social worker visit, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Okay, and I'll see you back, Ms. Moore.
Thank you.
All right,
next.
Position number 5, Mr.
My name is Scott Gilmore, sir.
Gilmore.
Good afternoon, Mr. Gilmore. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir. I'm working my best. I'm familiar with this.
Mr. Gilmore, you've been charged in case 22 CR 007027F with simple battery. I've been informed by pretrial that this is Mr. Gilmore's first arrest. Ms. Sori?
Yes, Your Honor. I've requested a breakout, MHET concerns.
I have no objection to that, Your Honor.
I'm sorry, I
have no objection to that.
I went out for a minute. What was the request?
Yes,
for MHT breakout, Your Honor.
Oh,
yes,
okay.
That's correct.
If you can put us into a breakout room, please.
All right, here we go.
Your Honor.
Okay, so we've had a, is he back with us?
You're right.
All right, so we've had an opportunity to discuss Mr. Gilmore with counsel in the breakout room. The bond's going to be a $2,000 good bond, no further violent contact with Sean Gilmore. There's going to be a mental health evaluation, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond, and Mr. Gilmore is going to be placed on the next competency calendar. All right, thank you, Mr. Gilmore. We'll see you back.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And just as an announcement for position number 7, Ms. Khadijah Kaba, the bond amount is going to be a $500 good bond on each charge, making it for a $1,000 good bond. Her appearance has been waived. She's to stay away from 330 Peachtree Road in Atlanta. There will be a mental health evaluation, no drugs, alcohol, weapons, and she will also be placed on the next competency calendar. Who do we have next?
Position 8, Knox.
Good afternoon, Mr. Knox. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Knox, you've been charged in case 22 CR 007029F with 2 counts of theft by taking. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
18 total. Last arrest was 2021 probation. He's on probation as of November 15th. He should be off for forgery in the 3rd degree. That's 17 SC 155084. 2020 probation, another 2020 probation, another 2020 probation, 2020 failed to appear for suspended license that was dismissed, 2019 probation, 2019 another probation. The violence in that case was dismissed. What else? 2018 battery DV theft by taking conviction. What else? Let's see. Got another battery DV conviction from 2018. 2017 forgery in the 3rd. That's what he's on probation for. And he has a conviction for criminal trespass. That was 03. That's it.
Thank you. Ms. Sori?
Yes, Your Honor. In this case, the defendant was seen on camera on 2 separate occasions riding around the victim in this case, whose name is spelled ISSAKHA, last name Diallo, that's DIALLO. And the incident location is 355 Roosevelt Highway in Atlanta. The defendant was seen on camera riding around this business, and he was also seen taking catalytic converters from vehicles on those separate occasions. As we've heard from pretrial, the defendant does have a history of forgery from 2017. He does have an FTA from 2020 and multiple probation violations from 2018 every year until last year. The state's recommendation is a $4,000 surety bond. That's $2,000 on each count, with conditions of staying away from the incident location and no contact with the victim. Nothing further.
Ms. Kim? You're on mute, Ms. Kim.
Sorry about that. Michael Knox is 45 years old and he was born and raised here in Georgia. He lived here all his life. He has 8 children and 7 of them are minors. So he still pays for their child support and their financial support. He has been doing it. He's married with, and so he has parents and siblings here in Georgia. He has been working as an automobile technician for the last 10 years. He has a GED, and he also served in the Army from 2008 to 2017. We would like to request for a signature on bond, and yet, because of previous probation violation. If Your Honor is not inclined to give him a signature on bond, we would like to request for maximum $500 good bond for each charge, a total of $1,000 for both of them. He has a high blood pressure that he really needs to take medicine as well. So he needs some attention and he has to get out of the jail as soon as he can. Thanks.
It's gonna be $1,000 good bond on each charge, making it for a total of a $2,000 good bond. Stay away from 355 Roosevelt Highway, no further contact with Mr. Diallo, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Knox.
Position 10, Milton.
Good afternoon, Mr. Melton. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes.
Is that a yes?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Melton. You've been charged in case 22 CR 007035A with criminal trespass and theft by shoplifting. So your history, Mr. Howard?
This is the 8th arrest. Last was December 2020. Possession of cocaine. April 2020. Possession of cocaine. You got an open case in Superior Court 20 CP 196042 for loitering and possession of cocaine. Pled no law in 03 to marijuana possession. Everything else is old. That's it.
Mr. Tole?
Yes, Judge, on October 17th of this year, the defendant walked into the racetrack and stole merchandise totaling up to $42.69. The defendant had previously been criminally trespassed from the location, but he still returned. The state's bond recommendation is a total of a $2,000 surety bond. For count 1 criminal trespass, $1,000 surety bond. That bond is already set and the state would like to keep that as remained. With condition of staying away from the incident location, 1180 Virginia Avenue, Hateville, Georgia, 30344, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. And for count 2, theft by shoplifting, $1,000 surety bond with conditions of completion of a theft prevention course and to stay away from the incident location, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
What did he allegedly take, Mr. Tole?
Took food items, a bag of chips. Let me see, Judge. It says Lay's barbecue chips, purified water, a naked juice, Angus meat topping taco, Corona, 18-pack of Corona, and the total was $42.69.
And what was the business?
Racetrack.
Racetrack?
Yes, Judge. And the incident location. Would you like for me to give the address again, or you have it?
It's 1180 Virginia.
Correct, Judge.
Okay, thank you. It's going to be $1,000 signature bond through the jail on both counts, which makes for a $2,000 signature bond through the jail. Stay away from the racetrack at 1180 Virginia Avenue, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Does that suit you, Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Melton, I'm going to give you the opportunity to get out, but you can't go back to that racetrack, okay? All right. Good luck to you, sir.
Thank you.
Position 13, Russell.
Good afternoon, Mr. Russell. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Russell, you've been charged in case 22 CR 007034A with theft by shoplifting. So your history, Mr. Howard?
13 total. Actually 14. Last arrest was on the 15th of this month in Henry County for shoplifting, criminal trespass. Appears to be open. He was arrested in May, probation 2021, probation. August 2021, theft by deception, probation. That was out of Lovejoy. 2018, shoplifting conviction out of Morrow. 2016, failure to appear, not prosecuted. 2015, theft by deception, first offender. It's more driving. 2011, theft by receiving, not presented to a grand jury. 2011, shoplifting arrest. That's it.
Mr. Tole?
Yes, Judge. On October the 6th of this year, the defendant entered the Home Depot. The defendant used a cutting tool to cut out the lesser value of a Marquita brushless impact driver barcode, with the value of that item being $139. He went to the cashier and he used the lesser value barcode to purchase a larger item, which was the Marquita hammer and drill set, with the value of that item being $349. The state's bond recommendation is a $1,500 surety bond. That bond is already set, and the state would like for the bond to remain as set. Due to his criminal history, Judge, which consists of several arrests and convictions for thefts, as you did hear from Mr. Howard. Completion with the conditions of completing a theft prevention course and staying away from the incident location, 870 Woodstock Road in Roswell, Georgia, 30075. Judge, the state is concerned that this defendant does run the risk of reoffending due to the several convictions and arrests that he has for theft-related offenses. He also has an open case for theft by shoplifting within an offense date of October 15th of this year. And he also has 3 probation violations in his history.
Yes, Martez Russell, he says that he's 40 years old, Your Honor, and he has been here in Georgia for all his life. He has 4 children, except one who is 19 years old. Everybody else is minors, 17, 15, 7. And he is a single father who is supporting those 4 children. And he has a 3-year-old granddaughter as well. He has been working as, he's a professional comedian who does tour through the countries, and he does stand-up comedy at different locations. On October 6th, he was actually in North Carolina, and he can prove with his tickets and hotels and everything. He believes that Home Depot has malfunctioning software where they may have a different person look like same person. Well, the one from Henry County on October 15, 2022, that was for theft by shoplifting on August 3rd. And on that day, the incident date, he was in Florida. So we would like to request for signature on bond for these charges, Your Honor, because he believes that he is innocent. He believes that wrong person is actually in the jail right now. So that's it, Your Honor. Thanks.
You know how it was identified, Mr. Tole?
Yes, Judge. Let me read that warrant. He was identified by the eyewitness who was the cashier who witnessed him actually changing up the barcodes and removing and trying to replace, and then they called the police. But pull up this warrant, Judge. I have it up. Okay. Well, Judge, on the warrant, let me see. Stated that he was identified by the actual cashier who witnessed him committing the offenses. He went to the cashier, and that's pretty much all I have on the warrant, Judge.
All right, it's going to be a $1,500 good bond. I'm going to leave the bond where it is. Stay away from the Home Depot on Woodstock Road, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Russell.
10%. Position 4, Frazier.
Good afternoon, Mr. Frazier. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Frazier, you've been charged in case 22 CR 007023E with 3 counts of simple battery and 1 count of criminal trespass. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
40 total. I'll give you Florida first. Last arrest there was February, failure to appear out of Orange County. Before that was June 2021, battery on emergency personnel. That was a conviction. May 2021, out of county warrant. Last arrest in Georgia was in 2019, simple battery against police. That was a conviction out of Chatham County. Had a 2019 trespass, misdemeanor terroristic threats, misdemeanor obstruction, arrest. I don't see a disposition for that. 2018 disorderly conduct, dismissed. 2017 misdemeanor obstruction, criminal trespass conviction. 2017 criminal damage to property, disorderly conduct. 2015 probation for possession of a firearm. 2015 disorderly conduct, trespass conviction. 2014 possession of a firearm by convicted felon or felony first offender. Simple assault, possession of a firearm during the commission. It just shows as an arrest. Trespass conviction, 2013 probation. 2013 giving false name conviction. 2013 trespass. You want more?
You're good, Mr. Howard. Thank you. Ms. Sori?
Yes, Your Honor, this incident took place at the Jefferson Place Transition House, which is located at 1135 Jefferson Street in Atlanta. Officers responded to this incident location due to the defendant acting aggressive towards staff. And when he was asked to leave by one of the victims, whose name is Daryl Mitchell, and he's the manager of the house, the defendant got upset, started throwing items, and he spat on the victim. He then spat on another victim whose name is Enrico Jackson. That's ENRICO, last name Jackson, common spelling. And for both of the victims, the spit actually landed in their midsection of their bodies. And when officers arrived to detain the defendant, he was detained, and as they were walking to the patrol car, he spat on the third victim, whose name is Shannon, last name Puryear, as he was being escorted, and that spit actually landed in the victim's face. As we've heard from pretrial, the defendant does have a violent background. Most recently, that 2019 simple battery on a police officer where he was found guilty. Due to the FTA he received in Florida, he is a flight risk, and he does present a risk of reoffending. The state's recommendation is a $7,500 surety bond. That's $2,000 on each simple battery, and a $1,500 surety bond on the criminal trespass, with conditions of no contact with the victims, a one-day anger awareness course, stay away, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. Nothing further.
Ms. McLeod?
Yes, Your Honor. My client is 41 years old. He is currently homeless. He was living in this halfway facility, he tells me, and he admits that he was asked to leave, but he denies that he spat on anyone, Your Honor. I acknowledge that my client does have a criminal history, Your Honor, but he's not currently employed. He tells me when he's able to work, he can do odd jobs, and that is what he does for a living. Of course, he doesn't have any money saved to pay bond or anything. So he's just not in a position to post bond, and he has no relatives here in the Atlanta area to post bond for him. I would ask the court to take that into consideration in setting his bond. And he does deny that he spat on anyone. And Your Honor, you also need a one-time law enforcement escort to go back to the location because he tells me that he had belongings at the location.
All right, for each simple battery, it's going to be $1,000 good bond. For the criminal trespass, a $500 good bond, makes it for a total of a $3,500 good bond. Stay away from the Jefferson House on 1135 Jefferson Street. No further contact with Mr. Mitchell, Mr. Jackson, or Mr. Huryar. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Mr. Frazier can go back to that location on one occasion with law enforcement to retrieve any belongings that he might have there. Good luck to you. Mr. Frazier.
Position 14, Shepherd.
Good afternoon, Mr. Shepherd. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Shepherd, you've been charged in case 22 CR 007028A with battery family violence. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
36. He's on probation in the cab for possession of cocaine in Fulton County for a criminal solicitation and possession of marijuana with intent. Last arrest was in April, 2 counts of failure to appear, 2 probation violations. Was also arrested in April for trespass. Okay, that's the open case. 2019 FTA for simple battery, giving false name, obstruction. 2018 failure to appear. 2017 failure to appear. 2017 sale of marijuana. 2017 simple battery. Okay. 2017 simple battery, obstruction, giving false name, arrest. 2016 possession of a schedule 1 or 2. 2016 simple battery. Got a parole violation and some FTAs from 2011. Drug conviction from 06, 05. Another one from 05. That's about it.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Howard. Mr. Tole?
Yes, Judge. On October 17th of this year, the police responded to the incident location for a dispute call. Upon arrival, the victim advised officers that she had been assaulted by the defendant, who was the father of her children. She stated that she was hanging out in the area with some friends when the defendant approached the victim and they exchanged words. The defendant then threw an alcoholic beverage at the victim's face. He then punched her in the face twice, leaving visible injuries on her lip and nose. The state's bond recommendation is a $7,000 surety bond, no further contact with the victim, completion of an anger awareness course, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out. The incident location, it occurred downtown, like in the streets area. However, the incident report did state that they lived together, and as a result, the state would request for a one-time escort through law enforcement so the defendant can get his belongings from where they live. Judge, the state is concerned that this defendant is a flight risk and he runs the risk of reoffending, considering the 5 failure to appears in his criminal history, in addition to 2 open simple battery cases that he has against the same victim. First case is 19 CR 003029A, and the second open case is 17 CR 027416A, and they're both, he has bench warrants out for both. And we have been in contact with the defendant. We do anticipate that she's going to want contact, but the state would object to that due to the facts of this case and the history of the parties and the 2 open cases that they have have open. And I'm not sure if she's on the Zoom call or not, but if she is, if you could sound for her when appropriate.
If you can give me the alleged victim's name and the stay-away location, please.
Yes, Judge. Let's see. Crawford. Her name is Delvon. It's Delvon. It's DALEVON Crawford. And the stay away location, Judge, I would say this incident, like I said, it occurred downtown somewhere. However, it will be the address that was given to our victim advocate. And that all we have is 869 Heritage Oaks Drive. Not sure if that's in Atlanta. I Googled it. Stone Mountain, Georgia came up, but we can double check.
Okay, Ms. McCollum?
Yes, Your Honor. My client is 40 years old. He is a native of Atlanta. He and the alleged victim share 4 minor children. He tells me that they have been in a relationship for quite some time. I believe they also have a 19-year-old, apart from the 4 minor children. So it clearly is a relationship of some length between the two of them. He denies that he struck the alleged victim, Your Honor. He says that is an entire fabrication. He did not do that. They were having an argument, and that was the extent of what happened, but he denies that he struck her. I acknowledge that my client does have a significant history, Your Honor, but his history is not necessarily violence related. I would ask the court to consider reducing the bond from the amount recommended by the prosecution, simply because he's not in a position to pay anything close to that, Your Honor. He does work, but his job does not give him the flexibility to have that kind of money on hand. Plus, he does have the 4 minor children that he has to support. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. If Ms. Crawford is on the line, this is your opportunity to address the court if you choose to do so. You do not have to do so. If you do choose to do so, you'll have to unmute yourself and activate your camera. As it appears no one has done so, it's going to be a $5,000 good bond. No further contact with Ms. Crawford. Stay away from Ms. Crawford's home location. He can go back to that location on one occasion with law enforcement to retrieve any belongings that he might have there. He can also have third-party contact with any minor children for visitation, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
And Judge, I apologize to interrupt, but I do have the address if you would like. It is 869 Heritage Oaks Drive, and that is in Stone Mountain, Georgia, and that's 30088.
All right, thank you, Mr. Tole. Good luck to you, Mr. Shepherd.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Who do we have next?
Your Honor, we have Miss Rogers. I don't know her position number.
Position 12.
Good afternoon, Ms. Rogers. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes.
Ms. Rogers, you've been charged in case 22 CR 007032C with battery, theft by shoplifting, and willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
I got 11 total. Last arrest was in May, obstruction. On probation for escape, shoplifting, and giving false name. It's 21 SC 179096. Last year in November, they gave her 12 months probation, so that should end next month on the 19th. November 2021, FTA for a fray out of DeKalb County. That's the shoplifting. 2021, probation. 2021, criminal damage to property, first degree, giving false name, arrest. That was out of East Point. 2018, failure to appear. It just says settled. 2018, misdemeanor possession of marijuana, obstruction, giving false name. Those were NOD. 2018, affray. Sale of marijuana conviction, 2017. Shoplifting conviction, 2016. That's it.
Thank you. Mr. Tole?
Yes, Judge. On October 15th of this year, the defendant, the police responded to a person refusing to leave the incident location. When the officer arrived, the victim, who was also the CVS employee, advised officers that the defendant came into the store and placed some makeup in her bag. After the victim noticed that, she said that she asked the defendant to leave. The defendant refused and began punching the victim, causing the victim to fall, and she began to stomp on her as she was on the ground. The defendant ran out the store. When officers came, they encountered her. They demanded for her, they gave verbal commands for her to stop. The defendant ignored and ran. The officers gave chase and found her 15 minutes away from the incident location. The state's bond recommendation for the battery is a $3,000 surety bond with conditions of staying away from the incident location, 2907 Main Street, East Point, Georgia, 30344. Completion of an 8-week anger management course and no further contact with the victim, Shelly Ann Lee. And her first name is spelled Shelly. Ann is the middle name, I would assume, and then Lee is the last name. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out. For count 2, theft by shoplifting is a $2,000 surety bond. Completion of a theft prevention course. Stay away from the incident location and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out. For count 3, willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer, a $1,000 surety bond, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out. And Judge, the state is concerned that the defendant runs a risk of reoffending based on the 2 arrests for willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer, with the most recent one being May of this year. She has 2 prior convictions for theft by shoplifting, and the next one will end up being a felony due to operation of law. She also is a danger to the community based on the facts of this case, and she serves as a flight risk due to the 2 failure to appears in her history.
Thank you. Ms. McLeod?
Yes, Your Honor. Miss Rogers is 23 years old. She's a native of Atlanta. She tells me that she has attended college for a year, so she does have a year of college education. She is employed at the moment, Your Honor, but she does not make a lot of money. So on the issue of bond, she is not in a position to post bond at this time. She tells me that she lives with her dad, and normally her dad would be able to help her out, but she said her dad was shot just this past weekend, I believe on Saturday, Your Honor. So he is laid up. He is, he has been shot. He is in the hospital. So he's not in a position to help her to post bond. I have asked the prosecutor if there is a plea offer on the table, since my client has indicated to me that she is interested in taking a plea.
Yes, I apologize about that. I do see it in the chat now. However, at this time, the state doesn't have a plea offer.
All right, so as far as the bond goes, it'll be a $500 good bond for each charge, making it a $1,500 good bond. Stay away from the CVS Main Street in East Point, and no further contact with Shelly Ann Lee. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Ms. Rogers.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, does that, have we taken care of everyone?
Yes, we're completed.
Okay, very good. Thank you all. I appreciate it. I'll see you next time.
Okay, thank you. Have a good one.
Do the same. Be safe.
Thank you.
All right, Ms. Bridgewater.
Okay, once again, the reset date for the SAP calendar is going to be November the 1st. Position number 1 is reset further notice with a $4,000 SOB through the jail. Position 2, reset further notice with a $2,000 total SOB through the jail. Position 3, reset further notice with a $3,000 SOB through pretrial. Position 4 is going to the SAP calendar with a $3,500 total good bond. Position 5 going to the SAP calendar with a $2,000 good bond. Position 6, reset further notice with a $3,000 total SOB through pretrial. Position 7 is going to the competency calendar, which is November the 3rd, with a $1,000 total good bond. Position 8, reset SAP calendar with a $2,000 total good bond. Position 9 is going to the SAP calendar with a $4,500 split bond. Position 10, reset further notice with a $2,000 total SOB through the jail. Position 11, going to the competency calendar, which again is November 3rd with the $1,000 good bond. Position 12, reset to the SAP calendar with a $1,500 total good bond. Position 13, the SAP calendar with a $1,500 good bond. Position 14, SAP calendar with a $5,000 good bond. And position 15 is reset further notice with a $2,500 total SOB through the jail. Are there any questions, comments, or otherwise?
There's a question. I thought that position number 11 was going on 2 weeks back in front of Judge Morrow after a social worker came out for November the 1st with the other companion case that we looked up. I did not know.
What was that date, Ms. Lewis?
I thought it would be the 2 weeks out from day was November the 1st.
Right, I believe that's the case.
That's what I thought. I
Right, if they don't get out-
was going to a November the 3rd competency calendar. Because unless I'm
So
getting
is it-
revolved.
So are we gonna put it on the SAP or are we putting it on the competency?
Position 11?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I just wanted a social worker to go out. I didn't want that. There's no mental health evaluation. So that's going to be on the November 1st SAP calendar.
Okay, so
we'll need
position
to
number
address.
11, reset SAP 11/1/22.
With the,
Okay.
and I'll put the companion case will be with it.
Yes, that would.
Okay.
Thank you.
All righty. If there are none others, then are we good?
Yes, thank you all. Have a good rest of
Okay,
your
bye-bye.
day. Appreciate it. Stay